guys, welcome back to my channel and happy Monday. Also, happy first day of the best month out of the year. It's October 1st, which means we are starting up with Preptober, and that also means NaNoWriMo is just a month away. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, stay tuned because I will explain what Preptober is, what NaNoWriMo is, and I'm also going to talk about how you can write your book, an entire book, in just 30 days time. But real quick, for those who don't know me, my name is Kristen Martin. I'm a self-published international Amazon best-selling author of 5 books, a writing coach, a podcaster, a YouTuber, essentially what you would call a creative entrepreneur. And like I just said, today we are going to be talking about how to write a book in a month. But before we get to that, let's clarify a couple of terms. We have Preptober and NaNoWriMo. Let's start with the latter. NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month, and it's basically a giant event that takes place every November where writers from all around the world set a goal to write 50,000 words in just 30 days. Preptober then is a concept that was created by Rachel Stephen. I'll make sure to leave her info and website linked down below. And essentially what Preptober is planning and prepping during the month of October so that you are actually able to sit down and write your novel in 30 days during NaNoWriMo in the month of November. Now, since there are a lot of videos already out there covering how to write your book, like the logistical and the technical parts of writing a book in 30 days, I'm going to attack it from more of a time management productivity perspective, since you know this is kind of the direction that my channel has taken since I relaunched everything. But if you are looking for more of that technical side, you know, that information on how to write a book in 30 days, I do want to let you know that today is actually the last day to get my newest self-study course, Conquering NaNoWriMo, for 50% off. It's a $200 value for just $97, and again, today is the last day. The coupon code you can use at checkout is FALLIG18. I will leave it linked in the description box below. But what you can expect from this course is a strategic 35-page workbook that I use every single year in order to conquer NaNoWriMo. And just a side note, I have written a novel every single year for the past 3 years consecutively. So I really tweaked my process and really adjusted it to the best of my ability so that I could share it with you guys and help you do the same. By investing in the course, you will also get access to my 4 weekly pep talk videos that talk about specific things or feelings, emotions that you're going to go through during NaNoWriMo. Those videos address things like writer's block, staying in flow, beating procrastination, and also how to avoid burnout. In addition to the 35-page workbook, those 4 weekly pep talk videos, you will also be invited to an exclusive private live stream event with yours truly during the month of November. We can sit there live, chat about any questions you may have. I can share any new hacks or tips, things that I've discovered along my own NaNoWriMo writing journey this year. Again, make sure to check out the link below, use that coupon code FALLIG18 and get 50% off. Again, that ends this evening, so make sure you take advantage. Also, make sure you stay tuned until the end of this video because I have 2 exciting announcements that I can't wait to share with you guys. Okay, are we ready to get into my top 5 tips for writing your book in 30 days? Let's do this. So in writing and publishing 5 books in just 3 years, almost 6 actually, because I do have a book releasing next week, I've come up with 5 things that I really believe as a writer you need to know about yourself, and a lot of them have to deal with productivity and time management. 5 things you really need to know in order to actually sit down and get that book written. I honestly believe if you do not know these 5 things, it will be very, very difficult to actually get that book written at all, but especially in 1 month, because 30 days is not a lot of time, but it can be. So I'm calling these KM's 5 knows. There are 5 things you need to know in order to write your book in 30 days. The first is pretty obvious, but it's to know what you're writing. Not having a story idea or a basic outline does not a book make. You cannot expect to actually sit down and write a book if you don't have a story for said book, and if you also don't have a basic rough outline in your head or on paper, you know, act 1, act 2, act 3, as to what's going to happen in your book. If you don't know what you're writing, then you're probably not going to be writing. For the sake of time, I'm going to link 2 videos down below. One on coming up with story ideas, actually 2 videos on coming up with story ideas, because I have a part 1 and a part 2. And also another video on how I outline my books, because I could go on and on about this forever, talking about story ideas and outlining, but I've already made videos on both of those topics, so let's not reinvent the wheel. My second no is to know your average word count in your writing sessions. If you don't know on average how many words you can actually get down on the computer or onto paper, it's very hard to plan ahead or plan for how long you're going to need to write for each day. If you know how many words you want to write and you know approximately how many words or your average number of words that you can get down in a writing session each day, it becomes much easier to figure out how many words or how many hours you need to spend sitting down writing your actual manuscript. Again, this may sound very simple, but I think it's something a lot of writers gloss over. They don't actually know how many words they're writing on average every time they sit down to type on their computer or to write in a notebook. So when you know this, it's going to make planning ahead and getting the words down on paper in the time frame that you desire much, much easier. If this is your first time writing a book and you have no idea what your average word count is per writing session, I would say in the beginning to block out 2 hours of time on your calendar simply for writing. I would say start with 2 hours, work backward or forward from there, see how much you're actually getting done in 2 hours. But again, the important thing here is to keep track of your word count so you know exactly how long it's going to take you to write the book. We're all different. We all type and think and formulate our stories at different speeds. So really this is about finding what will work best for you and discovering how long it's going to take you to actually write the book. My third no is to know what your months look like and plan ahead. I am such a type A person. I love planning. I love planners. I love everything that has to do with organization and writing things down. There is so much power in writing things down. So if you don't have a planner, or at the very least an app on your phone like Google Calendar, I highly recommend pressing pause on this video and ordering one right away or downloading the Google Calendar app on your phone. If you choose to write your first draft in a month, it's important to know what that month looks like. How demanding is your work schedule? Do you have kids that you need to drop off and pick up from school? Do you have really hyperactive dogs that need to be taken on multiple walks a day? Knowing all of these things and planning out your month ahead of time will save you so much time and energy, and it'll also save you a massive headache. Write down your priorities on your calendar, block time out, and make sure once you have all of your priorities and everything that you have to do, kind of like those non-negotiables, the things that you can't skip out on, once you have all of that written down, then start blocking out those 2 hour chunks or however long, those 2 hour blocks of time onto your calendar and stick to it. If you have to go pick up your kids at school at 3 o'clock, it's probably not the best idea to schedule your writing time between 2 and 4. You are the only person who knows what your schedule looks like, which means you are the only person who knows when you can fit your writing in. So be proactive instead of reactive and plan ahead as much as you possibly can. My fourth no is to know your time of genius. And what I mean by this is know when you're most creative, know when you have the most energy, know when you seem to be most in flow. Are you a morning writer, an afternoon writer, a night writer? Do you have multiple times throughout the day where you have these bursts of creative energy? And if so, can you utilize that time to the best of your ability and actually get some writing done? Knowing your time of genius and writing during your time of genius will also help you to have more productive writing sessions, to crank out more words, and also keep you from hitting writer's block or feeling discouraged because you're not getting as many words down as you would like. There is a study that you can do to figure out what your time of genius is if you don't know it, and it's not even just a single time of genius. Again, you might have multiple times throughout the day, so I will make sure to leave the link to that study in the description box below. And my fifth no is to know your procrastination triggers and have a plan in place to mitigate them. A procrastination trigger is something that turns that switch on in your brain, or more or less turns the switch off in your brain, that says, I don't want to do this right now, or I can put that off a little bit, I don't need to work on that right now. Knowing what your procrastination triggers are will save you loads of time. And if you're thinking to yourself, what is an example of a procrastination trigger? I'm going to share 3 of mine with you, because yes, I have 3, probably have more, but 3 is the most I could think of right now. My first procrastination trigger is a dirty house. If the house is not clean and it's unorganized, I tend to procrastinate and put off whatever it is I actually need to be doing because I want the house to be clean first. This then leads me to over cleaning. So I get overexcited once I start cleaning, And I'll start organizing things that don't need organizing. I'll run to TJ Maxx and get, organizational bins and just start, going through my whole closet. And suddenly I have piles of trash bags with clothes that I'm going to donate. And all I really needed to do was sweep the dog hair off the floor. So if you're anything like me, just know that that could be a procrastination trigger of yours. My second procrastination trigger is office clutter. If my office is cluttered, it's very hard for me to sit down and actually write and get things done. Kind of goes hand in hand with the first one. I just don't like when things are unorganized. My third procrastination trigger, which is actually one that I find very strange, is the accessibility to my actual Word document for my book. So call me old school if you want, but I keep all of my manuscripts on a USB thumb drive. I've had some things happen with the cloud. I try to back everything up to Google Drive and to iCloud, but I've had some things happen in the past where that really scares me. So I'm kind of old-fashioned in the sense that I keep all of my manuscripts on a USB thumb drive, and anytime I finish writing, I actually will attach the most recent version to an email and email it to myself, and then I'll safely tuck that email away into a folder. So the worst thing that can ever happen is that you are working on your book, the most recent version of your book, and suddenly the draft is gone, just disappears into the abyss of iCloud and all that. So I like to keep everything on a USB thumb drive. For some reason, the accessibility to my document is a trigger for me, which is not great because I need to figure out another system. So for instance, if my computer is turned off, the thought of going into my office, turning on my computer, logging onto my computer, inserting the USB thumb drive into its little slot, double clicking on it, going through all my folders to find the document, that to me, I don't know why it's a trigger to be like, oh, like I always think I don't want to do that right now. So really, I need to make it easier on myself to actually access the document. And some of you may be thinking I'm totally nuts. I guess maybe I kind of am. But for some reason, the accessibility to my document is a huge trigger for me. So a lot of the time what I do now is I actually just leave my laptop completely on. I leave the USB drive plugged in. I have the document open to the screen that I need to work on, and I'll just shut my laptop, especially if I'm at home. If you're traveling and stuff, it's a little bit harder to do this, but as long as I'm working at home, I can do that. So all I do is open up my laptop. Everything's all plugged in. I don't have to log into anything, and my manuscript is sitting right in front of me, blinking cursor and all, ready to go. So if you share any of my procrastination triggers, or you have some different ones that you would like to share, I'd love to know what they are. Leave me a comment down below. Okay, so those are my 5 no's, but there is kind of like a bonus tip. It's like the major key when it comes to actually writing a book in 30 days or getting that first draft down on paper. And it's so simple, but I'm gonna say it anyways. You have to be excited about your project. If you're not excited about the book you're writing, I can guarantee you you're not going to find the motivation anywhere to sit down and actually write the book. You have to be excited about it, excited about the characters, the world that you've built, the story you're about to tell. You have to be just so gung-ho to write it. I know it can be hard to maintain that excitement. Again, in the Conquering NaNoWriMo course, I do offer 7 fail-safe inspiration methods to keep you writing and to keep you really invested, really involved in your project idea. So that is it. Those are my 5 tips on writing an entire book in just 30 days. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the content of this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up to support my channel. And don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as click on that little bell, because that will send you email notifications to your inbox whenever I upload new videos like these. So let's talk about my 2 announcements that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The first one is about my book that is coming out next week on Tuesday, October 9th. And just so you guys know, that video for next week will not be going up on Monday like it normally does, but it will be going up on Tuesday, since again, that is the release day. The book that we'll be releasing is the sequel in the Shadow Crown series. It's called Renegade Crew, and I am so excited to share it with you guys. I'm actually really nervous, really nervous, but mostly excited to share it with you. Renegade Crew is available for pre-order on Amazon US and UK, and I have also opened up the option to pre-order autographed copies of Renegade Crew. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to check out the links in the description box below and place your order today. My next announcement is something that has to do with some travel that will be going on next year, but instead of me telling you guys right here, we're gonna roll to a clip that feels just a little bit more appropriate. So
So I'm so excited because I just announced that the next retreat will be in Greece. So it is going to focus on finishing your book, monetizing online, and elevating your online platform. The bonuses are absolutely nuts this time. There's only 10 spots available. Kristen Martin will also be there as the guest influencer. She's going to be hosting some fantastic workshops. So if you want to be there, make sure you go grab your spot. The link is in the description box below. You can go check that out, and we will see you guys there.
Okay, so that is it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to check out both of my websites, KristenMartinBooks.com and also ThatSmartHustle.com, to find out more information about my courses, books, events, all that good stuff. I will see you guys in my next video.